Hello, this is Math Wiz Watson, and my goal is to empower you. So let's multiply and divide integers. It helps if you already know how to multiply and divide. That might sound basic, but the stronger your multiplication and division skills are, the easier it is to understand the new concept of how to apply those to integers. Just like we have heads and we have tails on a coin, multiplication and division of integers follow the same rules. They're just different sides. I consider those different sides of the same coin, where if you have same signs, your answer is going to be positive, and if you have different signs, your answer will be negative. There are only 3 different types of problems you'll see when you multiply and divide integers. You'll see problems with, as in this first example, a negative times a negative is a positive, and a positive times a negative is a negative, and a positive times a positive is a positive. So the only time you're going to have a negative answer when you're multiplying and dividing integers is if you have the example number 2, where you have 2 numbers that have different signs, where you have a positive and a negative sign. So let's just focus on the signs that we use. Let's look at some examples to clear this up. So in the following examples, we have first here 2 times 9. Both signs are the same, so it's going to be positive. 2 times 9, 18. We use our basic multiplication skills, and we'll see 2 times 9 is 18. Second example, both signs are the same, so it's positive. 3 times 4 is 12. And in the third example, the signs are different, so it's negative. I already know that's negative. I see that right off the bat. 24. So that's why it's important to focus on the signs. If you focus on the signs first of all, then all you're dealing with at that point is your basic multiplication skills. So just remember, in the 3 scenarios, there's only one scenario. There's only one way you can have negative signs, and that is if you have a positive and a negative. So I'm drilling that information in so that you can use this information going forward anytime you see integers. And the same thing applies for division. Let's look at some examples. So let's divide these 3 examples. We have 10 divided by negative 2, but the first thing I look at once again is the signs. So I have a positive and a negative. I know my sign is going to be negative, so I'll just use my basic division skills. 10 divided by 2 is 5, so that's a negative 5. Second example, a negative and a positive. That's going to give me a negative. 5 divided by 1 is just 5. And then positive, positive, that's going to be positive. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So feel free to pause the video and try the following examples. I have 14 times a negative 3. 3 times 4, 12, carry my 1, 42. Negative and a positive is a negative. Negative 7 divided by a positive 7. Negative, positive, negative. 7 divided by 7, 1. Negative divided by negative, 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 positive. 5 divided by 1 is 5. Negative, negative, positive. 6 times 4, 24. Key in on the signs for success. So that brings us to one of the most basic and important rules in algebra. If I take the 0 product rule, that is, I take anything times 0 is 0. So if I take 16 times 0, that's 0. Now I take for any non-zero number a times 0, that equals 0. That's something that will come up down the line. It's going to be very important down the line. It's very basic, but it's something to remember, and it's called the 0 product rule. So that'll be a great rule to remember going forward. And for division, 0 divided by any number a, any non-zero number a, is 0. And so with numbers, 0 divided by 9, negative 9, for example, is 0. But it's very important to know that a divided by 0 is not the same, and that is not equal to 0. So for any number, I'll take a 9 divided by 0. That is not equal to 0. It is what we call undefined. We don't know what that is. It's a very large number, and we don't know what that is, but it's not 0. So when we multiply and divide integers, it's just important to know that if we have the same signs, it's going to be positive. If we have opposite signs, the answer is going to be negative. Our zero product rule, any number or any variable times 0 is 0. And for division, 0 divided by anything is 0. For any letter or any variable, 0 divided by anything is 0. But which is not true, that any number divided by 0 is not 0. So any number divided by 0 is in fact undefined. So that's how you multiply and divide integers. All there's left to do now is practice. And the time to practice is right now. You practice as soon as possible for best results. And you practice as long as you need to until you get the concept. One of the biggest secrets that I used to stay a step ahead of the competition was that I really worked on my multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, my basic arithmetic skills. Work on those basic arithmetic skills. The more you sharpen those skills, the better you'll see your results in all topics of math. What you want to work on is adding and subtracting 2-digit numbers. Work on those and just drill those into them as fast as you can. Multiply your multiplication tables 1 through 12. Anytime you get a few extra minutes, if you're just riding in the car, anytime when you have downtime, don't just sit there. Work on your multiplication tables 1 through 12. Once you get those and you hone those skills, you should see a tremendous boost in your results. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. Please like, subscribe, share, support.